Good morning, welcome to Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. My name is Sanda Davis, and I'll be your host for today's show and for many, many shows to come. Again in studio, Dr. Timothy Watson. Thank you for being here again. We have more fields to cover. And in the end of the show, previous show that was called The Reality of Paradise, we're talking about the reality from the larger picture, understanding in which way in culture and in the personal life, the signs of paradise are here. And we're talking about rejuvenation, about me not coloring my hair, you not coloring your hair, and yet getting the color of the hair is changing, just one aspect of the regeneration that comes with paradise. And we're looking at different aspects of it, like how does that work? How the fact that we stopped coloring our hair not only improves the quality of the hair and it grows the darker hair back, but what do we experience with that? So I was looking at the fact that accepting it and not feeling uncomfortable, not feeling that I have to color my hair and the roots are showing, that in itself had an effect. And then you figure out that there's way more to that. And I know my reason for stopping to color my hair was I have to be authentic. This is it. I'm not going to create another impression that I have red hair or that I have younger hair. This is it, and I'll just have to face it. So you're finding a lot of interesting points about that.
Yeah.
In your, yeah.
Well, in terms of a comparative analysis, when you look at writings that are engendering a strong view of womanhood and trying to enhance the rights of women, you have literature of a very positive vein in that regard, because it's saying, well, you don't have to wear makeup, you can still be beautiful. You don't have to tone your body and slim it down to the point where you're like the supermodels on the front cover of the magazines. You can be beautiful the way you are. And so these are positive, because it's teaching people that they don't have to wear makeup, they don't have to color their hair, they don't have to change the way they are, they don't have to have cosmetic surgery, they don't have to do any of this because they're beautiful the way they are. All they have to do is enhance their own character and qualities, and the internal beauty that comes from the alchemy of transforming the self from the human to the divine level will naturally make them more luminous. Their face, their eyes, their whole being becomes brighter, and the face that they show to the world becomes more friendly. They smile and the world smiles with you, laugh and the world laughs with you is the motto of so many, and it's true.
Yeah.
This has been the case with, our stories. We stopped dyeing our hair. And so what is that? That's being more authentic, being more true to what you actually are. And it's paradoxical because, you're showing the world that you really are older and that you have this gray hair or white hair. But the irony is that there's a rejuvenation that comes from not using all these chemicals, and you end up getting your old hair back, your old color back, and so forth. So
that has not been the case years back. This is the coming close to the gates to paradise. All the good things, like from human to divine, then you start, like you're saying, luminous and younger, and you smile, the world smiles with you. And this is what's happening, actually. The regeneration increases as you are truthful to yourself. Somewhere in the previous show, I was talking about the importance of truth and being true to yourself, the importance in health and regeneration. The immune system needs to know who you are to protect you, otherwise you get autoimmune illnesses, because the immune system doesn't know who to protect, the false self or the true self. What is the signal? What is the identity? What is the field that is reading? The same thing with every aspect. Dye red hair enough and the body goes like, do I make the hair red? But that's not in my genes. So as soon as you stop coloring your hair, your body is bringing your authentic color, which is a darker color, right? And same thing with everything. You are more upset, which is a false state. Your eyes look darker. You are happier, more luminous. Your eyes look green. There's an Italian song where an Italian singer says, you will be happy and the colors would rise from your heart to your eyes. Yeah,
That's a nice one.
you are happier, you have green eyes. That's the authentic self bringing up personality, character traits that actually enhance everything about you as you advance from human to divine. And that's happening out there. And you may think that is because of exercise, because of food, and that's important too. But actually what's happening that rises the divine capacity, the divine quality in you, will actually bring that rejuvenation that creams may help, because may bring nutrients to the skin. But the reality of the authentic being, you're saying something very interesting about that.
Yeah, the
Connecting it to character and to the gates to paradise.
right, exactly. So, what I was saying was that, when you stop dyeing your hair and you show your true colors, it's kind of embarrassing or shameful, slightly, because you didn't want people to know, and because they thought that you were maybe younger, and they thought that your hair was really dark, and then suddenly they're finding out that your hair is
Well,
white.
the roots grow.
Yeah. It's kind of shameful, I suppose,
Yeah.
And then once you get that shame off your shoulders and realize it just doesn't matter, then what you've done is you've effectively allowed the hair to be its true self, just as you're allowing yourself to be your true self. And it's with every aspect of that truth within the self that the same transformation takes place. So it applies to character as well. When you're like me on this show, being extremely candid and honest about my faults, most people that want to be seen as respectable and who wish to be respected by society will put up a false front or a facade of perfection where they want everyone to think that they're perfect, and people can see through this.
Of course.
They know you're not.
Yeah.
And the more you try to pretend to be perfect, the more they're going to fault find, because they can see through the fact that you are not being authentic, that you're putting up a false front, that underlying this attempt at perfection, there's profound imperfection, and they can see it. So it's better to be honest and tell the world about those faults that you have, and then you're on the road to correction. They can see that, and they applaud the effort, because better that you find the fault and excise it and get rid of it than to live this life of hypocrisy until the end of time.
Absolutely. In the next segment, we'll be talking about the reality of paradise as you see it and the kingdom, because they coexist now. They're neighbors. Next segment. Welcome back, Dr. Timothy Watson. In the previous show and previous segment, we talked more about the reality of paradise. But the kingdom is real as well. And the kingdom and paradise are neighbors. From kingdom one transitions to paradise. Now, in your view, which one is higher? Kingdom or paradise? High in quality and potential for the future and so on. Kingdom or paradise?
Unquestionably, paradise. And so that's our goal. We want to pass through the gates of paradise and enter the place of paradise. So I'll let you say what you have to say, and then maybe I can help.
Yeah, the entire, at least the Christian religion, if not other religions as well, are heading towards a kingdom view. Definitely, other than a brief mention of paradise from the cross, when the one on the cross said, "I'll see you in paradise." Other than that, all the teachings are about the kingdom, and he's asked about how is it in the kingdom, and he describes some positive things, but the positive things have a lot of challenges, like the parable of the sower. The sower is sowing seeds, and some seeds fall on the hard ground that doesn't grow the seeds, or as soon as something grows, the enemy comes and snatches it. So obviously that's not a perfect place. It's a perfect environment for potentiating those that make good choices. Then there's a parable of the rich man in the kingdom, or wanting, who doesn't even make it to the kingdom, asks how could he get there. So, well, sell everything you have and give to the poor. And he walked away sad because he didn't want to sell what he had to make it to the kingdom. How would he make it to paradise? By making his money, putting people through pain, and seeing people suffer, he wouldn't do anything to help them. So we'll look at the parables actually that describe, because that's the only way more could be said about the kingdom. Like the apostles are asking, and how is it? How is the kingdom? Well, it's like this. And every parable shows the effort, the struggle to do it right, and dealing with things that are not that easy to deal with. And the promise there is actually in the kingdom everything has solutions that put you in condition to enter paradise. The kingdom has all the solutions. Purgatory has all the purgatory has the main problems and the main solutions. Like if one has a serious problem, it's not acceptable in the kingdom. Like liars cannot enter the kingdom. They have to stop lying. The solution is the truth, and they went through purgatory for that. And hell had all the problems. And the solution was get out of hell if you want to implement solutions. And get to purgatory, get to the kingdom. For that, what? You cannot go in the kingdom with that problem. They're clearly explained. So there are conditions from graduating from one place to the next. And what you find is that in the kingdom, you have most of the solutions. You have solutions for everything that would hold you from paradise. There'll be opposition, like you have great doctors who are against natural healing, and great healers who look down at doctors, and actually they're both needed. the medical healing as well as the spiritual healing, the religious, divine healing. They're all important. So you'll have there that they all have faith, but in their faith they may struggle with each other. They may not find peace with each other. It doesn't look like peace is in the kingdom. So there is a strife, but there are all solutions. So much so that in the kingdom, the lame shall walk and the blind shall see. That's another great thing. So everything that is required for paradise is present in the kingdom. So that's how I view it. And to pass the gate of truth to paradise, you need to enter honest in the kingdom and develop the truth. So obviously, in my view, the kingdom is not a place that can hold people there. The final goal is not make it to the kingdom. The final goal is make it to the kingdom that prepares you to paradise, so that you can make it to paradise. You don't stay stuck with, we make it to the kingdom, and then every time we plant a tree and it grows, the enemy comes and knocks it down, and then we start again because we are patient. In the kingdom are the cycles. Kingdoms crush, empires crush. Paradise doesn't crush. So the title or the subtitle for this show has to do like why paradise? For people who have prepared for the kingdom. They need to know the kingdom prepares them for paradise, so don't turn down paradise just because you love the kingdom. What do you say about this?
Or don't turn down the kingdom just because you want paradise, because as you pointed out to me many times, you have to qualify for paradise. So you can't get qualification unless you go through the necessary work to get there. So I think the problem we have with a lot of the New Age teachings and the New Age literature is they keep talking about how you can have this power to manifest.
And vibrate, vibrate, vibrate. Okay, what about the content?
Yeah. And so they leave out of the equation the idea of merit. Yeah, you can manifest when you merit the gifts that the universe decides to dispense, but they make it seem like all you have to do is focus on the thing you want, and that...
And you'll get it. You'll get it from the universe. You'll get it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's false teaching.
That's pretty much the kingdom by plunder.
Yeah.
Get it, get it, get it.
Right. I mean,
just find out the trick and apply the trick and you get it.
Right. So all it's doing is encouraging a kind of spiritual opportunism. So, you know, the problem with the American dream is everyone wanted it and they didn't care how they got it. If it had to be take the kingdom by plunder, they would do it. And so they wanted the bling, they wanted the, you know, the riches without the integrity and the honesty and the effort that is required to get them in the right way. Right?
Yeah. And see, there are paradise beings who step into the kingdom to meet the kingdom people. It's like it's a back and forth between kingdom and paradise. If you fall out of paradise, you fall in the kingdom. Okay, you're short of truth at some point, you're out immediately. Just to say, oops, what have I done? Well, that smile was not very truthful. I didn't say anything untruthful, like, why is the gate of truth throwing me out? I smiled when I didn't want to smile, when I didn't mean to smile. I just wanted to be kind, but it was not truthful. So I have to watch that if I smile is real. So an example. Mm-hmm. We have to, what you see is what you get. That's one important rule. And the kingdom says, well, you meant well, but you have to learn to do it well. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. Classes with the Mother, Sanda Davis. Learn about true love, soul and spirit, paradise now, gaze to the eternal paradise, gaze to the universal paradise, healing, and many other topics that you might be interested in. Check on the website and you'll find the information, and let us know if you're interested in class, online, or in your area. Walk and Dance reality show on Paradise Now. If you have paraplegia or quadriplegia. Auditions start March 1st to April 1st, 2017. On the air healing for spinal cord injury. Welcome back. Well, Dr. Timothy Watson, we're talking about the kingdom, and I'm very impressed with your insight in kingdom and paradise because you understand them both. And we can be very conversant about these things. But you are the first person who said at some point that I heard saying, well, of course, we have to strive for paradise, because you even compared kingdom to kingdom is just another hell. uh, so, can you comment on that a little bit?
Well, we have so many references to paradise in our world religions and in our literature, world literature. We have John Milton trying to explain how paradise was lost. We have the Genesis stories of how paradise was lost. So the Eden state that we once had was lost because of the fall. And there was this serpent, as the being is described. And this being was a deceiver. This being was full of guile. And it tricked the inhabitants of the garden to eat of the fruit of the tree of good and knowledge of good and evil. And so this led to duality, and the duality is the embodiment of the conflict which causes the loss of vitality, which causes the loss of longevity. In the biblical Genesis age, we had life of great duration, with Adam living over 900 years and a host of these patriarchs from the time living well in excess of 800 years. I think Methuselah was the oldest of the lot, with an exceptional longevity. The fact, though, is that once they had lost their divinity and had fallen into a state of disgrace, they felt shame and they were hiding. hiding from who? Hiding from God. And in a sense, hiding from themselves and hiding from each other and feeling shame for their nakedness. And we had the God and the Lord God. So who are these two beings? Are they the same? And well, it seems not. And so there were those that were born and those that were made. And the Adamite race of those that were made were flawed. They lacked the divine substance. And
this is why Jesus said they will not see the kingdom of God until they are born again. Born again. Because those that were made didn't have what it takes, didn't have life. Those who were made didn't have life. They had the breath of life, but not life.
fascinating. So the reverse to the fall is to ascend, to have the ascension. So we're at the time in history where that ascension is taking place. So after 12,000 years of a kind of living hell where we were entrapped in a field that was causing great harm, great conflict, great unhappiness, great dissatisfaction. We now are out of that field, and the time for paradise is now.
Yes, so we'll continue after the break with a review of the kingdom and compare it to paradise. And hell is the place without solutions. Kingdom has all the solutions. But sometimes when you do something good and somebody snatches it, it feels quite unpleasant. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. Classes with the Mother, Sanda Davis. Learn about true love, soul and spirit, paradise now, gaze to the eternal paradise, gaze to the universal paradise, healing, and many other topics that you might be interested in. Check on the website and you'll find the information. And let us know if you're interested in class, online, or in your area. Walk and Dance reality show on Paradise Now. If you have paraplegia or quadriplegia. Auditions start March 1st to April 1st, 2017. On the air healing for spinal cord injury. We continue with the comparison between kingdom and paradise to understand why paradise is the higher state, but why kingdom is so extraordinarily important. The kingdom of God would prepare for the paradise of God. So, in the kingdom of God, to even get near the gate of truth and gate of identity to paradise, We have to deal with being truthful to each other, with one another. And in the break, as we were conversing, you're mentioning political correctness. What a great point. I grew up in the communist Romania and I left it some 30 some years ago. And my biggest problem that really pushed me out of the country, and I screamed and I said, "Get me out of here, I die if I stay here," is because duplicity engaged by political correctness made it impossible to be truthful. We had to play the game, say the words when we knew that things were different. And it was acceptable. They were keeping us from the light and from the future just by having to be duplicitous. So I'm coming here, and if you know Kafka's Coming to America, you keep ending up on the boat. You cannot get off the boat. So I'm coming here, and somehow with the Berlin Wall falling down, all the political correctness from the communist countries moved here. Went back to Romania, everybody was smart, articulate, original, amazing to hear them talking freely, and I come to America, and they're stiff with political correctness. And I'm going like, okay, I want off the boat.
Yeah.
And to be able to smile when I have reasons to smile and speak correctly without hurting people's feelings now. So what do you make of this political correctness thing?
Well, it seems to be aptly timed and with design to prevent people from reaching the gates of paradise and passing through the gates of paradise, because the first gate is true identity. And if you can't be honest and express your true self, then you're not expressing your true identity. So it is a gatekeeper. It is drawing up the drawbridge. It's preventing you from making it through the gates.
And then another gate is the gate of integrity. How much integrity do you have if you play the politically correct game and say things that please, and you are not allowed to speak freely? Where is the freedom of speech? Where are you free to be yourself in the free part of the world, right? It's a gatekeeper. And then you have the gate of truth and the gate of perceptiveness. So all of that, how perceptive are you when you are just keeping face?
Yeah.
And the other ones who are very perceptive will say, that's a fake. We know that's not true. Yeah. So what do we do with this?
Well, unfortunately, I see people in my life that show this type of lack of truthfulness with themselves, lack of truthfulness with others. The self that they're presenting to the world is a false facade of perfection. They won't allow you to, find any fault in them. They get very defensive, and they pretend that they and their families are perfect, and they will say, my brother or my husband doesn't lie, never has lied,
After the break, we'll talk about not just faking it to appear perfect, but there are wonderful beings who are pushed to fake imperfection, who are pushed to fake inability, who are pushed to fake staying less so that they don't get punished. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. Classes with the Mother, Sanda Davis. Learn about true love, soul and spirit, paradise now, gaze to the eternal paradise, gaze to the universal paradise, healing, and many other topics that you might be interested in. Check on the website and you'll find the information, and let us know if you're interested in class, online, or in your area. Walk and Dance reality show on Paradise Now. If you have paraplegia or quadriplegia. Auditions start March 1st to April 1st, 2017. On the air healing for spinal cord injury. Welcome back. We're talking about political correctness in the kingdom. There is no political correctness in paradise, but we have to resolve it in the kingdom, where we are not liars. Liars don't make it to the kingdom, but we are still due with more honesty, more truthfulness to who we are. So here we are having to deal with political correctness and with pleasing, appearing. You're talking before the break that some people keep a perfect face or whatever, how they have to look for their professional or family image or whatever, but some fake being less. They have to play it down. They understand more and they are afraid to speak more. They are more enlightened and they are afraid to show enlightened because they could be rejected by those who are fixated in dogma. I cannot be a good Catholic and be more enlightened. Yes, you can. Respect all the values of the Catholic faith. You don't have to offend people in the Catholic Church that are not at the place where you're at. But you don't have to play it down because how will they see the light? Be lights in the world. See? Can you think of other examples of playing it down or playing it up, whichever inspires you more?
Yeah, I mean, Marilyn Monroe, this type of the dumb blonde routine. Some females in history had to play as being less intelligent than they actually are in order to survive in a world dominated by a patriarchal society that refused to grant a place of equal status to women. So they had to play it down. That's probably the most obvious example. Right?
Women who have to play it down to not upset the boss, who most often might be a guy who pays the woman less for equal work.
Right.
But women may have to play it down to keep their job. Or to keep their marriages.
Or pretending that their most useful job in the office is to make coffee or what have you, to serve other people.
Well, they actually may have a lot of great contributions.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about women. How about men? What about men?
Well, for example, in an academic environment, you're going to encounter jealousy, and there's going to be people that are competing with you, and so you hide, and you don't want to show all your research and all of your capability because you're worried that someone else might sabotage you or steal your work or what have you. And all those are real threats and real concerns. But the more we act as a model of truthfulness, then the more we're apt to create a environment of cooperation. Because as soon as you get defensive and decide that you're not going to talk to those down the hall because they're from a different school of thought and we never get along, well, then they're going to put up their defenses and it's just going to balkanize the department and no one's going to talk to each other. So it's this honesty, and some of it is laughing at oneself and making jokes about one's own shortcomings, that's going to invite a more engendering reaction from those down the hall, right? So I'm not saying that I did it well. I didn't. That's why I'm not in those academic halls of learning anymore. But maybe I could go back someday because I've learned about my own follies and my own stubbornness or what have you, right?
Yeah. Well, the academic world is a great, great world to understand well, because we have to unite human science with divine science, and that can only be done with truth, with authentic self. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. Classes with the Mother, Sanda Davis. Learn about true love, soul and spirit, paradise now, gaze to the eternal paradise, gaze to the universal paradise, healing, and many other topics that you might be interested in. Check on the website and you'll find the information, and let us know if you're interested in class, online, or in your area. Walk and Dance reality show on Paradise Now. If you have paraplegia or quadriplegia. Auditions start March 1st to April 1st, 2017. On the air healing for spinal cord injury. So freedom of speech in the kingdom requires respect for others. Yeah, we are free, but we are responsible to be honest and not discourage them or knock them down. Dignity is important, but saving face with falsehood is not exactly what we need to do in the kingdom, and definitely doesn't take anybody to paradise. Having their true face gets them to paradise. So being two-faced, that's a big problem, like, because one face heads one direction, the other one the other directions, or many. More heads definitely don't help in one head. So I would like to give you the freedom to explore the.
Well, there's a film I would describe as a kingdom film that has a lot of profanity in it and a lot of things that would make it a restricted film and so forth. But it is a very brilliant film.
Are you sure it's not a purgatory movie?
Probably a little of purgatory too, but it does provide solutions.
All right.
And the reason I say that is because there are scenes that are very poignant in the film that actually show that the gangster Tony Montana actually does have a conscience and does have some hero qualities. Yeah, he's a tragic hero, and yes, he dies at the end, but he's not just an anti-hero. He has virtues, and he has a conscience, and he has morality. He has a moral system, his own, but it's there. And so what you have in the restaurant is him misbehaving and getting drunk, and his wife is a drug addict, and they're having a fight in the middle of the restaurant, and they've created a scene, and everyone around them in this posh restaurant is, of course, putting on the airs of, oh, this is so untoward, we can't have this, you know. And so he gets up and says, yeah, you think I'm a bad guy? Yeah, I'm a bad guy. And but you're all no better than me, because you're just hiding. You're good at hiding. And I'm honest. I'm a bad guy, I admit it. But I got to tell you, you know, I'm truthful. I'm honest.
In vino veritas?
He says, even when I lie, I'm honest.
Okay.
In vino veritas,
In
yeah.
vino veritas. So who are you talking about? From what movie?
Tony Montana in Scarface.
Okay.
So the title of the film says it all, right? He's scarred. He has some damage to his character, but there's virtues in him. Like, for instance, they have been given an assignment to take out a rather outspoken national ambassador that's blowing the whistle on their whole drug cartel. And his job is to assassinate this man with the assistance of a trained hitman. The trained hitman is sitting next to him in the he's driving in the passenger seat. He has the detonation device in his lap. They have to get within 10 meters in order to succeed in detonating the bomb that is placed under the car. But he sees that his wife is with him and that the two children have climbed into the back seat, and he says, no, we're not doing this, we're not doing this. And so what we see as they're pursuing the car down the street is two children in the back seat playing. One's a boy and one's a girl. What does this cause but him to have a flashback memory of his own childhood where he imagines he and his sister playing, who he loves, Gina, his sister. And so he can't bring himself to do what he's been assigned to do because he can't take the lives of these people that remind him of those that he loves. So the man has clearly got a conscience. He clearly has some system of morality. We may not
So he was in purgatory heading hoping to head to kingdom. Or one foot in purgatory, one in the kingdom.
Yeah, very well said, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll conclude with Scarface. We're heading to the last segment. For people who missed our previous shows, we recommend that you go and visit YouTube and type in search Paradise Now Dialogues with the Mother. You'll find there all the episodes. Please leave your comments. We're interested in what you think. We're looking forward to hear from you. Walk and Dance reality show on Paradise Now. If you have paraplegia or quadriplegia. Auditions start March 1st to April 1st, 2017. On the air healing for spinal cord injury. Dr. Timothy Watson is just as fascinating to talk on the show with you as it is in our work conversations and in our uh, uh, private conversations about paradise and kingdom. Uh, so it's been a delight having you here, and I would like to understand a little bit more the story with Tony that you're mentioning, the conclusion to that.
Okay, well, he didn't carry out the assignment. He was supposed to kill this ambassador that was making his cartel rather internationally unpopular by making these public addresses, whistleblowing. So he didn't carry out the assignment. He didn't blow up his car because conscience got the better of him. He couldn't do it because there were children and the wife of the ambassador in the car. So he could have, let's say, despite the fact that this cost him his life, because then the cartel was angry with him and they sent assassins to kill him. Nevertheless, he did the right thing, and this would qualify him in his next incarnation to enter kingdom from purgatory. Now, there is a corollary here in mythology or in history or in religious history, shall we say. The story is, and it's probably mythological in nature, but supposedly this monkey king who saved his fellow monkeys who had their mango tree invaded by an army who liked the mangoes and wanted to conquer their tree and were basically chasing all the monkeys out of the tree. He tried to save his fellow monkeys by making a bridge of himself so that they could escape to safety, but took an arrow in the process from the invading army and ended up dying. But because of his sacrifice, he was able to reincarnate as none other than Buddha, the Buddha.
Wonderful story, wonderful story. Those who would lose this life because of doing the right thing will be ahead. But we are not talking about those who violently attack others. We are talking about those who withhold from violence. So if we should talk about the suicide bombers, they would make it to kingdom and paradise by not going through, by calling somebody and saying, get this off of me, I cannot hurt innocent people. These people didn't hurt me. Maybe some politicians did something that hurt my country, but these people didn't hurt me. I will not hurt these people. So this is from abstaining to harm that one would be born to bring their whole being to kingdom and to paradise. And we will have to have at least one show where we help people understand why paradise is so important for their infinite future. It's not just for being happier there. Paradise is a step. It's internal paradise first, and then universal paradise, and then the galactic paradise, then cosmic paradise, then paradise of God. And it is an evolution of being where, like Jesus told to people, they too shall be gods. It's an evolution. Next time,